Okay, good afternoon and welcome all to today's Lunch and Learn webinar. Our topic for this afternoon is Acumatica, a modern and state-of-the-art ERP solution that's recognized as an ERP market leader. Before we begin, please remember that you can submit your questions at all times using the chat room, and we'll try to get to them at the Q&A at the end. On that note, let me hand it over to our first presenter, Michel Sommier from DNA. Go ahead, Michel.
Thank you, Joel, and good afternoon, everyone. As Joel mentioned, I'll be doing the first part, which is basically an overview of the technology of the Acumatica solution, and we'll see that followed by a demo from one of our consultants, Kevin. And let's get started. But just before, let me remind those on the call that are clients of DNA and may be wondering, don't worry. DNA currently supports roughly some 450 Sage 300 clients, and we will continue to support and work with our existing clients and partners for many years to come. However, we continue to be asked every week or so, what cloud solution do we recommend? So after looking in the last couple of years at the Oracle, NetSuite, Microsoft Dynamics, Sage Intacct, and other similar solutions, we decided to ally ourselves with what we feel is the winning horse. And this is why we're presenting this solution here today. So to make you aware of what is out there and to reassure you that if and when your organization is ready to embrace a cloud-based software as a solution, software as a service solution, DNA can continue to be your partner of choice. So let's begin. And just for those who may not know who DNA is, I'll give you the 30-second version. We're an Ottawa-based firm that's been working in the ERP market for over 30 years. We're based in Ottawa, but we have some consultants in Montreal and Moncton. And I like to say that our specialty is twofold. One is help small, medium enterprises who have a legacy solution that's no longer serving them well, who need a more enterprise-wide solution. We help them find something that is adequate for them. We're also helping industries that already have a solution such as Sage or Acumatica, but now need to add some modules to do some specific industry requirements or automate some processes. That tends to be our specialty, to know the third-party vendors out there that are integrated with what we recommend. And we're authorized right now to present and support both Sage and Acumatica solutions. Today's agenda, so we'll talk a little bit about some of the changes that we've seen happen in the last little while and how we're going to address those using the Acumatica tool. We'll get a quick overview of what the industry analysts are saying about Acumatica, but more importantly, what the users and companies that select that solution say about it and what the differentiators are. We're going to have a small demonstration, some 20 minutes or so, of the general business edition. I'll tell you more about that, followed by a summary and Q&A session. So again, if you've got questions, feel free to submit them in the chat room. And if you prefer to submit in French, although we do have a French session tomorrow at noon, feel free to do so. And we'll everybody on the call is bilingual. So let's get started. So we're all going through a personal digital transformation over the last decades or more, probably even without consciously noticing all of it. No, but we're doing electronic banking, we're depositing checks with our phone, we're transferring money electronically, reading the news online. Hey, we end up using our phone to replace camera, calculator, recording device. It's all around us, and it's mostly good, except of course when I see somebody texting while driving beside me, but that's another point. Companies are doing or should be doing the same thing. See, we no longer print and walk a report over to someone. We use email, we use websites, social networks, collaboration tools are all over the place. We automate the creation and distribution of information according to some business rules. We digitize and store paper documents electronically. Many of us maybe already submit timesheets and expense reports using our phone or tablets. See, this digital transformation is happening whether we want it or not, and it's changed us in more ways than we probably want to admit. It's a known fact that some studies lately have been saying that enterprises or people looking for a new software solution will typically spend up to 70% of their initial research on the web before they even contact a vendor. If your clients are doing the same thing, it's probably then very important for you to embrace this new digital relationship in order to thrive. Now, of course, modern technology is not going to be the silver bullet on its own, so we must equip our people and upgrade our processes to make a real impact. How does an enterprise then goes about this digital transformation we're talking about? Well, I'm going to suggest 5 criteria, sort of a roadmap of concept for a change. First, connected business, which is the idea of giving everyone in the organization access to the information they need so they can share and collaborate inside the enterprise and with the outside world. Rapid integration, the ability to integrate other digital investments you've already made and are considering so that users get up to speed quickly and it's not a brand new learning curve. And we'll cover that in more details later on. Remote collaboration, well, that really happened with COVID. The ability to access the system anytime from anywhere, hopefully on as many devices as I have, so that I encourage remote collaboration and increase the productivity across the board. Business resilient is the concept that ensuring that the software I select will promote an ensured continuity of operations by quickly adapting and delivering modern technology solutions with an easy growth path. And if I'm able to do that, then I'm probably going to have a future-proof solution that is not proprietary, that has an open source software and architecture that will ensure the ability to embrace new technologies and requirements in areas, for example, as security, two-factor identification, AI, biometrics, and more. So this is how the best future-proof your business. Tell you a little bit about what the industry analysts are saying about Acumatica without going into too much details. G2, for example, compares the user satisfaction and how quick the adoption is for enterprises before they become productive. In other words, how easy is it to move to Acumatica? And as you see on the chart in the top right corner, we fare very well there. Another one, software review studies the emotional footprint. In other words, how easy is it for decision makers of a new ERP solution to measure the acceptance from the user, the process of the evaluating, selecting, and negotiating with the vendor, strategy, innovation of the solution all considered. And again, that's a point that's very high with Acumatica, and we're proud of that. We're talking about studies and results from PC Editors magazine naming us the best ERP solution for the last 4 years. And the point that comes back often is the modern UI and the flexible workflow and the usability that many industry analysts note about Acumatica. And we'll come back to this, but one of the main reasons I think for these comments is the ecosystem surrounding Acumatica that breeds familiarity. It's not reinventing the wheel, but in addition to having a unique solution, it's having various layers of partnerships with software that we're already comfortable with to shorten the learning curve. Now, hearing what the industry analysts are saying about Acumatica is interesting, but I think it's more relevant for us to look at why an increasing number of mid-market organizations are choosing Acumatica to take them into the next decade or more. So I'd like to propose 5 top reasons, 5 differentiators, if you wish, of why Acumatica is gaining much traction in the market. And from a company selecting the solution and from a user's point of view. First point is Acumatica was created for and in the cloud. So it's browser-based, delivered through the cloud so that business can follow you wherever you go. I'm going to ask you to imagine, for example, you start up the day by looking at your phone or tablet. So get a dashboard type, let's say 10,000 foot view of the enterprise key indicators so that you get a sense of what your day is going to be like. Or maybe before taking some family time away from work, you take out your mobile device and you go through some approvals that are waiting for you to be reviewed. Or you answer a CEO or VP's request in real time for an update on some company metrics or some performance report. So we're talking about the ability here to access any data from anywhere at your convenience without limitations. Of course, all of this must be controlled and is controlled by precise access restrictions that is based on your role in the company. Second point I'd like to mention is access to the information is great, but making sense of it is even more critical. So Acumatica starts off by offering 3 levels of tools for you to generate the views of the business you want to see and share. But also, if you're using Acumatica's existing tools, or if you've already embraced a fully integrated third-party app such as Power BI, Nectari, or other, know that you have the flexibility of choice to get to the information you need. The third reason that I'm going to throw your way is why organizations choose Acumatica. It's because of its open architecture, non-proprietary, that is meant right from the start to support the connected cloud. See, a large number of us have already begun choosing cloud-based applications for a specific need. And the challenge, of course, is to make sure that these individual solutions will all be connected seamlessly and easy to navigate. So you probably already took software like Office 365. You may be using Salesforce as CRM, Adobe or DocuSign. Maybe you have a Shopify web portal, etc. And you're asking yourself, how am I going to knit these various cloud-based applications together for my users? So understand that a large number of cloud-based partners have already seamlessly integrated their solution with Acumatica. And of course, this list is growing every month. But in addition, Acumatica's open architecture and APIs will let you or your developers integrate with those cloud solutions that are not already on the list of partners, as well as ensure that you'll be able to adopt emerging and future technologies such as AI, machine learning, biometrics, and more. Speaking of partnership, let's not forget 2 of the most influential partnerships in place. See, many Acumatica employees are ex-Microsoft and regularly cooperate in the co-development efforts with both companies. Amazon is the platform behind the Acumatica Cloud, and both Microsoft and Acumatica sponsor the Acumatica Summit each year. So they're very, very close-knit relationship there. The next point that I think is a strong differentiator is the flexible deployment options, whether it's public, private, or on-premise. The choice is yours to make, but also to remake based on your business and existing infrastructure. There are no multiple year lock-ins or termination penalties. We want you to have flexibility of deployment at all times to match your environment, your regulations, your IT approach. Now that's a huge differentiator, and I think it's pretty unique to Acumatica because of the flexibility without the penalties or constraints. So far we've covered some of the key advantages: born in the cloud, anytime, anywhere, any device, the connected cloud, and flexible deployment option. Let me throw the last point that I think is the true differentiator of Acumatica. See, it's our belief that every employee should be able to contribute to or benefit from the business management system in which you just invested. So authorized people, we feel, should be able to access, create, and receive the information they need to drive the business, regardless of their employees, contractors, external vendors, partners, customers, members. So with Acumatica's flexible licensing plan, you only pay for the computing power you use. What I mean by that is Acumatica does not charge a per user license. We favor instead a modern, growth-friendly licensing on a pay-as-you-go basis that should grow and shrink with your business. So it's designed to be stable, predictable, and by the way, like others, we'll never buy your business with an artificially low introductory rate that disappears after the second year. So how much resource you consume on the infrastructure of your choice determines the license fee. And we'll even go one step further and adjust the license fee based on seasonality. If, for example, your business sees a huge spike during the holiday rush, say between November and February, when your consumption goes up for 4 months of the year, while the other months, 8 months, stay at a regular lower fee. I don't believe, and I'm pretty sure on that one, that there's any other company out there offering this model to recognize the seasonality of business with no user-based license. What a concept. So this brings us to what does Acumatica actually offer. So let's spend a few minutes before the demo just to give you a sense of the breadth and depth of Acumatica. First, the core of the solution is a series of integrated modules which offer the functionality required by all businesses. We're talking about financial management, inventory management, project accounting, CRM, payroll, and field service. The key here, though, is that Acumatica's solution is this collection of connected cross modules that range from initial projects to inventory, to the manufacturing process, to even field servicing. It's a complete solution that allows you to move across any or all of these modules with a pervasive CRM in a single uninterrupted workflow. And that's an area where we really shine, and I think you'll get a good glimpse of it during the demo. Now, when I'm talking interconnected modules, these don't come bare either. So for example, the financial module is not just GLARAP, but it includes all these crucial components right from the start: the multi-company, multi-currency, deferred and recurring revenue, fixed asset management, and more. So solid, complete modules for a robust core solution. Next, in addition to these core modules, Acumatica goes one step further in offering what I'll call intelligent business functionality with the mission critical capabilities specific to industries such as commerce, construction, distribution, manufacturing. For example, the distribution edition will have additional functionality for sales and order management, warehousing, handheld device support, shop floor data collection. Construction edition will go deeper into the project planning, scheduling, and management. It deals with subcontractors, payroll, and more. Commerce edition provides a stronger B2B, B2C integrated web stores with the financial system. We'll make sure to present accurate and client-specific pricing and inventory to the online customers, POS solution integrations, and more. What's great about all this, by the way, is that for companies like DNA, it allows us to pick and choose the functionality that each of our clients truly needs for delivering a complete tailored enterprise solution. And that's the beauty of it for us. Now, having implemented the specific modules to meet your requirements, Acumatica and its partner reseller DNA will make sure to provide total and ongoing support to make your project a complete success. So right from the start, you get first level support from DNA and second level support with Acumatica's 24/7 technical services as part of the solution. And to make sure your initial deployment and training of new releases goes fast and smooth, Acumatica offers built-in user guides for self-paced learning and free access to Acumatica Open University, which is really an online library of up-to-date tutorials on all the aspects of working with Acumatica. Lastly, we aim to provide an ethical, customer-centric solution. It can be best summarized by the following: the Acumatica Customer Bill of Rights. It's our promise to you in writing. For example, simple and no-nonsense approach with a simple end-user license agreement that's not going to be modified many times a year, and that doesn't need a lawyer to understand. A non-proprietary, flexible, open platform will never be a proprietary solution that you can only buy from us to add components. Consumption-based pricing, capped at a low 3% annual increase. 0.7, by the way, seems obvious, but you may be surprised to know that with many cloud-based ERPs, you're never really sure if you can get access to all of your data at any time without additional costs or get a restore at a specific date and time. See, we think that that should be a universal point, and Acumatica believes the data is yours, and therefore you should be able to get access to it at any point in time and do what you want with it. Point 9 and 10 are already explained, are the business model we believe best serve the customer, two-level support, period. So in summary, let me remind you how Acumatica Cloud ERP provides the best management solution for digitally resilient companies by delivering on these key points. Everyone in the organization having access to the information they need, sharing, collaborating across the enterprise with the outside world. Connected business, I think we delivered. The ability to integrate with the other digital investment you've already made and are considering so that the users can get up to speed quickly. Rapid integrations delivered. Access anytime from anywhere on any device to encourage remote collaboration and increase productivity. Remote collaboration, I think we delivered. Ensuring continuity of operations, adapting to new realities and trends, delivering modern technology with an easy growth path. That's about business resilience, and it's delivered. Lastly, open source software and architecture to ensure the ability to embrace new technologies and requirements in areas, for example, of security, identification, AI, biometrics, and more. Future-proof, deliver, and I think this is what Acumatica is all about. So at this point, you've listened to a quick overview of the solution, but we want to give you a taste of what the user will see when they open Acumatica. So my colleague Kevin Lynch will give us about a 20-minute overview of Acumatica, just enough to whet your appetite. Again, feel free to submit any questions you have in the chat box, and we'll get to them at the end of the session. So Kevin, I'll ask Joel to make you the presenter, and we'll confirm when we can see your screen.
All right.
There you go, Kevin. I've just transferred.
Okay, so everybody
Perfect.
see this point, yes. All right, so I'll take a little walk through a live Acumatica environment here. So as Michel alluded to, Acumatica is a web-based software, can be cloud hosted, can be hosted on premise, but you're presented with a login screen from your website, and you can use your favorite web browser to access it. Within, or where we land in Acumatica is a dashboard that you select, that you prepare in advance. Pardon the phone in the background here. Good timing on that call. We'll give up. There we go. Sorry. So yes, so we're greeted with a dashboard that we can configure. We choose. This dashboard gives us all sorts of information at our fingertips about what we might be working on. Each user's experience in Acumatica can be controlled by security options that you select. So there's a lot of items in the menu on my left-hand side here because I'm an administrative level or admin level user. But each user you have who logs into Acumatica, you can control with the scalpel as specific as you want the types of access they have. So if you have users that should only be working in the payables module, they might have a very narrow menu here, and you can control which dashboards they can see, the information they get. Lots of ways to kind of manage who has access to what, but also to give access to multiple users in your company to the information they need or the bits they need to be able to do their part of your work. One of the nice aspects of the software as well is for any company that has multiple companies, divisions, branches, you have a quick selector over here to switch between them. So you can, from within the same software, without necessarily needing to log out and back in again, you can choose the angle you're viewing your business by and quickly switch between one division and the other to see what's going on both sides of your business. And again, this is controlled on a per user basis, who has access to what. Our side menu over here starts with our favorites section. So these are very simple to fill in your Acumatica. When you're logged in as a user, there's these little stars that appear next to the headings for all of the screens you're on. So by clicking on that star, when I click on my favorites menu, that makes that view would now appear here. So these are all the screens that I've selected to be my favorites. And on top of that, well, every module kind of organizes their screens in a little submenu, very easy to navigate, easy to get around. On top of this quick menu we have access to, there's also the universal search bar at the top, which is a great tool that allows us to do a one-stop search across multiple areas of the solution. So for instance, if I'm looking for orders that included laptops, I can use my keyword search of laptops, search under the transactions and profiles, and here's a pile of AR payments. Now this was a little vague, so I might have many pages worth of results, but again, you use your keywords in here to do your search. Instantly get your results. Same idea. If it's not a transaction I'm looking for, but rather a screen that I don't remember exactly which menu it's under. So if I search under menu items for the word invoice, oh, here's every menu item we have that would have the word invoice in it. So again, nice fast search. You can do the same thing across help topics and wiki articles that you can update and modify for your own business's processes, or even across files, uploaded files that are in the system for invoices that may be coming up with a lot of results here again. So here's an example of a bunch of files that were uploaded to Acumatica with the keyword invoice in them. In addition to all this, we also have a bit of flexibility, which is nice in making use of the space on the screen. So it is a modern web UI. It is responsive. It'll take advantage of the amount of screen space you have on the device you're logging in with. And if you feel like you need a little more, you can always collapse down the left side menu to get a bit more screen real estate and use it to make it more convenient or more information on the screen at once. We'll take a little walk through our dashboard here. As you can see, there's many little sections that are all customizable on these dashboards. You can have multiple dashboards. You can filter them by, so you can set filters at the top level at your dashboard that we have here. Pick a specific client and just see the information that applies to them. But you can have, these are quick kind of data call outs, so counters for lists that are always live and updated frequently, and you can always force an update if you want a very up to the second information on one of them. And these are all kind of a drill down clickable element, so you can click into it to see these elements, all of the documents, the 25 records that form that list of orders to ship. If I go back to my dashboard here, I can see the elements like some charts just show me my sales order trend by month. And again, clickable, get into it, see what constitutes that total that we're seeing in that chart. You've got your pie charts, you've got all sorts of visualizations, you've got some listings of recent activities for more, say, CRM tracking of the type of interactions you're having with your customers or vendors. Contact lists. So there's all sorts of things you can do with these dashboards, and they're all very interactive. And they're all very customizable as well. So if you want to change, even on a per user basis, a user who wants to change the heading for their dashboard without having it affect everybody else's, has the ability to go in design and do user overrides should you allow them to do so. Finally, we'll just go through creating the process of using these interfaces, these web interfaces from Acumatica to go through a simple scenario of creating a sales transaction. So here we have our basic sales order entry screen. So we start by entering our customer. We can start typing a few letters of their customer code and it'll autocomplete for us, which is convenient. We can also use the search tool for a more in-depth search to find, if we're having trouble finding our customer, using that. And over here in our grid, we're going to go and select an item that we want to sell. In this case, we're going to pick a computer. We're going to sell 5 of them. Again, we can have options for which warehouse we're shipping it from, the branch that's making the sale, the description of this item that could be overridden if needed, the unit price based on our price lists, again, can be adjusted, discounts we want to apply, so on and so forth. So here we're going to flip over to our shipping tab. So one of the interesting features built into Acumatica is the ability to integrate with multiple carriers to find shipping rates. So if you have your products, you have your information about them, their dimensional weight of the boxes, the packaging, the actual weight of them. If I scroll down a little bit here, I can see some up-to-date pricing from multiple options from carriers on shipping options that we want. So in this case, let's say I want to select UPS. It's going to be my box. Again, we keep track of the weight, the box weight, the gross weight, value, etc., etc. Everything is there. So I select one option, it comes back and populates, and it's going to create that shipping request for us. Then from there, we're going to simply walk through. Now, again, these are all things, I clicked on that create shipment button at the top to move on through my multiple steps. This could all be functions that you separate among multiple users. If you have the segregation of duties, one person enters the order, a different person confirms the shipment and so on, or enters the shipment, confirms it. So you can control which user does everything. It could be for small enterprises, it could be the same person that does many of the steps. For larger, you might separate these into different responsibilities. So once we've created our shipment, we can print our shipment confirmation. In this case, I'm just going to confirm it. And then again, our next step would be to prepare our invoice. And nobody needs to necessarily enter much additional information at each of these steps because all the information was configured and entered in the previous steps. So we're just walking it through the flow. We can adjust some of the information as needed in each of these steps. From here, we can print the invoice, we can release, just to show you what the printed invoice, again, these are all customizable evidently, and you'll see some watermarks here because of our demo. But here we have the ability to send directly by email to the customer, or we can print to a printer, export a PDF, multiple options over here. And again, this is very customizable as to what it would look like. And the final step of our sales order to invoicing process would be to release it, which then completes this entire process. At this point, we have a completed invoice, start to finish. Everything from the sales order to the shipment to the invoice, all done. So again, this could have been multiple people, multiple different steps, or in smaller organizations, you might have one person walking through these steps and printing and doing all of these themselves. And the last little thing I'm going to do here, give me a moment, I'm going to connect my mobile device over here so I can present it. I want to do a little quick walk into the mobile application for Acumatica. So Acumatica has a native application for iOS, for iPhones, or for Android as well. And so what's one of the nice things about that, so you should be able to see it in the middle of the screen right now. One of the things you can see with that is that it does make use of integrated mobile device functionality. So in the case of an iPhone here, I can take advantage of Face ID to authenticate and log in. And from this information, so I'm logged into the same instance I was in over there, we can have access or visibility on different KPIs. We can see elements like, again, action items, POs that are pending approvals, a list of orders that I have pending that are ready to ship. So I can put a list of KPIs or action items on top. I can, again, have access to many of my web screens. So I could take the long way through navigating my screens and finding a sales order. So this would be the sales order we just created moments ago, November 9th. And again, I can walk through here and see the 5 quantity of computers we ordered. So the estimated price for the whole thing. So very easy to navigate. All the information is there, presented in a convenient fashion in your mobile device. And again, there's all sorts of integrations with native mobile functionality. So in more CRM related tasks, if you have a contact entered in here, you could click on a phone number to initiate a phone call directly. So the information is there and very convenient to use. And this obviously can be done as of the nature of cloud software, can be done on the go. So you don't have to be sitting in front of your computer to have access to all the information that's contained in your ERP. So that concludes the little walkthrough you want to do on the Acumatica software and mobile application. So I'll pass it back to Michel to complete the presentation for today.
So thank you, Kevin. So who's your favorite hockey team? I'm not sure I got it. Go
The
Habs,
secret.
go.
The secret. It might not be good, but they're fun to watch.
There you go. Thanks for this overview, Kevin. Obviously, there's so much that we would be able to share with you, but to try to keep it a little bit generic for everybody, we thought we'd go at a high level. Of course, we'd be happy to go into more details individually with any of you. I know that we've been getting some questions through the Q&A session, so let me turn over and ask Joel if you have any questions, or if you want to pick from the list, and I'll pick some too. I can start if you want. There's one asking if we have.
I'm not seeing any questions.
Oh, I see them all. Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay. There you go.
A question about if Acumatica has workflows and approval included. Yes, indeed it is. That's one of the huge difference, by the way, and I'm not saying necessarily that to knock down Sage 300 at all, believe me, but the different philosophy, Sage 300 has always said we'll concentrate on the core financial, and anything else really, we've got hundreds and hundreds of partners out there that can provide a solution. Simplest one being, for example, the EFT payments. Awesome module from ORCID. Acumatica's approach is very different. We're going to try to build that core with as much functionality as possible, yet knowing that there's hundreds of partners out there, but you get so much more right in, and those are two workflows and approval are included. Next one I see, you talked about mobile devices being supported. Kevin showed us iOS, but Android is also supported, have no fear. And as hopefully was demonstrated, it's the same instance that you're looking at, the same data in real time. So if I do some changes on the mobile, it's instantly reflected for somebody that's working at their workstation and vice versa. Next one I see is Acumatica still a good fit for us if we're a small not-for-profit organization with just a handful of users? Well, I think while we promote the access to everyone with an unlimited user approach in Acumatica, we recognize that for smaller organization, a licensing model for 5 or 10 named users may be more appropriate and is available at a lower cost. So it's our hope, of course, that once you implement Acumatica and see the benefit of giving you access to all that can benefit from or contribute to the system, you'll want to migrate to an unlimited user version. This is a way to get started on a smaller budget, so a 5 or 10 named user license. How do I figure out the license pricing if not user-based? Yes, I know that's different. The original estimate, by the way, is based on the highest monthly business transaction. So whether you're talking sales orders, AR invoices, POs, AP bills, vendor payments. So based on those, we're able to establish a tier that gives an indication of the resources required to support your unlimited users environment. That tier, of course, can be adjusted at any time to reflect the actual usage of your license fee. I could give an example of leasing a car, and the car is going to have a fixed monthly payment. Now, originally, the person leasing the car is going to ask you how far you're planning to go, how many people are going to ride, and what kind of driver are you? Do you step on the gas all the way to the bottom or not? While this will affect the consumption, this will reflect the actual monthly price that's going to be charged. So it's the same concept. How much resources are you going to use on the hosted platform? And that will be your price. So the fact that, hey, all of a sudden I'm having 10 more people submit their timesheets and expenses on a mobile, that's really not going to affect the consumption. So adding these 10 users doesn't change anything to your pricing. This one is asked often. Does the payroll solution support the Canadian and the Quebec particularities, especially in the construction industry? And yes, of course, being in Eastern Canada, we have to deal with the Quebec differences and the different provinces. So yes, know that a bilingual Canadian solution that understands, for example, the Quebec specific union codes and rules, CCQ, CSST, ROEs and T4s. Yes, it's all there, and it's available with Acumatica. Anybody else has any answer or any questions, I should say? Any questions for Kevin? We've made this job really easy today. I'd like to see it complicated a bit. Any comments, anybody else? Well, I'm sure nobody else has ever complained about a webinar finishing early, but it looks like that's going to be the case. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your presence and your good questions. We're thrilled, DNA's thrilled to take advantage of his 30+ years in the business and help small and medium organizations take advantage of what we believe is going to be the leading cloud-based SaaS solution in the near future. So feel free to reach out and ask us to discuss your specific needs and see if this solution might be for you. So again, thank you for attending. Have a great rest of the day. And for those who might have been more comfortable in French, just a quick reminder that we have a French session at noon tomorrow. And you can contact Will or I, or send an email to sales@da.ca to get a follow-up. Again, thank you. Have a great day.